besides online, organic Google, you can do a number of other things to drive traffic to your website and get more people to join your courses. I already briefly touched on advertising. Very quick to set it up, and it's a very precise way. If you realize that you're not really getting very good exposure on your organic rankings, you can set up an ad, and you will be able to be found by people, even though not as many click on it, but it's a quick way to at least get some people. Yeah, so it is to some extent limited. And if you use very broad query, then you're going to get eaten by Google, because they'll happily charge you for every click. So you need to be very, very careful to only go for those queries that are going to actually bring you students. And that means that you also need to track the results to know that this actually these typical ads that are really bringing you inquiries, and these inquiries are actually people who are serious. So the anatomy of a good Google ad, the first thing to think about is is this worth running an ad for? We work with Palette Sensations, which is one of Singapore's most famous cooking schools. And they do cooking classes, which are just individual classes that happen, on a scheduled basis. But they are one-off. So, we've actually chosen to go for their team building sessions, because every time a company comes to Palette Sensations for team building, then it's a corporate class, and they may charge about 100 Singapore dollars, which is about 60 euros, I think, per participant. So you could imagine that the numbers can go up quite fast. So it's worth to be found. And we made it very targeted. We actually, if you search for team building Singapore, you still will not see Palette Sensations ads. Only when it's cooking team building, then you would see the ads. So, and then the ad needs to cover as many selling points as possible. And then there's a bit of experimentation. So you can try different ad copies to get the best performing out there. So you throw something at the audience, and you throw two different ads, and you see whether one is really better than the other. So first we will actually say that there are programs here. It's not just, get your team in the room. There is actually programs there, which also gives a hook for people to click and find out more about the programs. And then we really want to focus on the premium aspect, because Palette Sensations is a premium provider that has more expensive, but, much more professional type of activities. So that, we include that all in the ad. Yeah, and you could run ads while at the same time working on the organic SEO, which takes time. Another tactic is banner advertising, which you can get as much exposure and as many clicks as you want with banner advertising. There are many ways to decide where to put the banners. This can be done in the same platform as Google AdWords. So you can, in Google AdWords, you can upload banners, and you can say that you want them to be shown on specific websites in specific countries, alongside articles that are about specific topics, or to specific people who have previously visited websites with certain interest. And so there's a real art in actually, showing them to the right people. And you have to realize that these people are not actively searching for your product. So it's different from Google AdWords and organic Google search, because those people are really looking for a problem. Whereas here you are just kind of, showing them something they could do while they are busy reading their newspaper or, just browsing the web. So what you offer cannot be directly, sign up for our lesson. A level test might actually be a great way to capture many people, because people might be bored and they may click and then they do the level test, but then at the same time they kind of they've had a first introduction to you. And also if you target well, you will show up to people who might later end up searching. And because you've already shown them your banner, you're kind of ahead of the others that haven't. So when they then see you again in the organic search results, then you have a leg up there. So the same goes for Facebook advertising, which is quite like banner advertising. You go into the Facebook advertising platform and you can set up an ad there that looks just like a Facebook post. But you can decide who gets to see it, so what age group. And Google, Facebook knows a lot about their users, because when you signed up to your Facebook account, you had to, or you probably provided some information, but then after that you started liking things and all that. So there's many different interests, and let's say they can know where your hometown is, but also where you are now. And all of that can be used to find your ideal audience. But just like with banners, these are not people who are actively searching for it now. So, this ad, for example, it shows an interview with a Singapore Indian student who came to e-Mandarin, Chinese language school, and he's speaking Chinese with subtitles. So it's, and if people want to learn more, they can go to the e-Mandarin website. Now these two, so Facebook as well as the banners, can also be used in a different way, and that is retargeting. So with retargeting, what you do is you put a special code on your website, and every time someone visits your website, they get added to a group, to a list, and you can then decide to show specific ads to people, for example, people who visited your website in the last 14 days or in the last 30 days. You can even, let's say in the first 5 days, you show up one ad and then you have another ad. And this helps you to build trust, because generally it takes about 14 times that people see your brand before they trust it. And since you are really specific to people who have already expressed an interest by visiting your website, you can show these ads to a relatively small group, but you get a big impact. And that you could also say, if you have a few different ads, you can show different angles, different success stories of your students or testimonials. And, some of these people will come back and they will inquire. They might not have been ready to inquire the first time. And without these ads, they may easily forget about you. But with the ads, you can stay in front of them. So, yeah, so that was the webinar. I think we covered it in pretty high speed.